Hello, my name is Robert Norton. I would like to introduce you to a new tool the district has recently approved for use called Explain Everything Whiteboard. If you miss having your whiteboard at school to aid in explaining things to your students, I believe you're going to find this tool very appealing. But I must say that Explain Everything is much more than somewhere you just write things. You can do things with Explain Everything that are browser-based, but to unlock many of the more interesting features you'll need and want the Android or iOS app. For this tutorial, I'm working off of an iPad with a Bluetooth linked Apple Pencil. Once you've created an account and installed the Explain Everything Whiteboard app, here's what you're going to see upon opening that app. Let's start with Begin a New Project. You'll note that the options available to you are blank canvas, template, and files. I would suggest starting with the blank canvas initially in order to get a feel of what the app will offer. What you initially see is a toolbar on the left side spanning the screen vertically. This is where you will find the tools that allow you to put together the canvas. In the upper right, you see that there are some additional options that I'm going to explore with you toward the end of this tutorial. Clearly shown at the bottom, you have a spot where you can record things. And in the bottom right, you have a slide sorter of sorts. Let's start there. If we click the little plus sign, you can add another slide to the show. You can do that as many times as you want. And you can set a canvas multiple times that way. Note that my default that I have set up here is such that the screen itself is black each time. If you click the little up button where the slides are numbered, you have some options that you see in the middle of the screen, such as the little color palette. So if you would prefer a white background, you can switch that over really easily there. If you would prefer to have some dots, you can choose a background that has primary white and then some dots. If you want to do some graphing type things with kids, you can set up a pattern grid line, or you can just do vertical lines and horizontal lines if you want to practice writing or something like that. I'm going to go with gridded pattern because I'm a science teacher and I like to graph a lot. Note that because I was doing that through the slide sorter there, you can see that that was applied to all of the slides that I had added. If you don't like all of those, you can go through and edit and delete those if you prefer, but just like that. So let's start with our first options here on the left banner where you see a bunch of the tools. The first one here you can see has a whole list of things that are available for you to do. If you want to take a picture with your iPad or whatever and insert that into the space that you have here, you can do that. Same thing with a video, a web browser, equation, or audio that you will take through your microphone. If you would prefer existing images, files, clip art, and the like, you can do that with the other options. But what I would suggest you would want to do before you do any of that is to do a placeholder. A placeholder will allow you to have the same basic choices, but if I wanted to, say, insert a file with the placeholder, it's going to be there so that I can move it around. I'm going to take off the grid for the moment just so that we can see exactly what I am doing there. You see there's a dotted outline of that. You can play around with the size if you prefer with the little corner drag there. And it's going to come up blank as a placeholder where you can tap the little center icon and actually insert a file or a document. You have a bunch of options from where you can go to get those files. If you happen to have it in your Google Drive, which I've kind of gone ahead and set up for this express purpose, I can take something like this, click on it. You can see there's a little download that's happening there. I need to wait for that to happen, and then up in the upper right you can import that there. So I've brought in a picture there for the moment. If I want to go in and add some text to that, I can go and insert a placeholder with a text box, move that around and size it the way I want, and I can tap to enter text into there. Say something like, I am missing you since you. And then, of course, my picture there has the element argon attached with it, so they hopefully understand I'm trying to make a pun of sorts. I'm going to make that a black color, and now I can go in and move that around. You can do that with as many things as you like. You can do a placeholder for audio. You can do that with existing audio. You do a placeholder for audio that you want to record yourself. You can do that with videos, a web browser, any of those options that you see there. If you would prefer, you can also go in and add some text that you're writing specifically. So if you would prefer to write on your own, you certainly have that option. Now this is, again, just starting from a blank canvas, so you can play around and do those kinds of things as you like. I'm going to go back in and show you something else that you can do. I'm going to start a different project here with a blank canvas again. But let's say that you wanted to, with your placeholder, insert a file, and that file was, say, maybe an assignment that you have, a document that you want them to complete. You can import that, and with the zoom tool in the bottom left hand corner, you can kind of get a bit better picture of exactly where that is. And you can write on top of this if you prefer as well. So the writing tool allows you to pull in your documents and write over top of them. If you want to record your voice while you do that as well, you can from the little record icon at the bottom. If you would like to highlight, you have a highlight tool that's right there with everything as well. If you mess up and want to erase, you can do that as well. I don't know why it's not erasing that. But if you did something you don't like, you can undo it. If there's a piece that you would like to cut out, you can circle it and then pull it away. You can add text from over here. You can auto group things. You can draw circles, and it will try to find a shape match for you. You can fill in that with a different color if you prefer. There's a whole variety of things that you can do with the tools here on the left-hand side. Me personally, I've set this up with some questions that I'm working with AP students on, trying to show them how to go about solving free response questions and the like. And I have gone through and notated with my Apple Pencil exactly the process they should go through to solve them, like I would on a whiteboard if they were in the class. Just recorded that. And in the end, if you've recorded something and you want to kind of finish that off, or if you just want to post instructions for the next day, you can, in the upper right hand corner, you can do one of three things. You can create a web link where students can go and view your project. If you do it through that way, it's going to basically give you the option to share, where you could send that to Classroom or somewhere else, email it to yourself or wherever you like. If you want to save the video to your Google Drive or something like that, you can export it as a video, a document, an image, a project, whatever you like, to a spot where you can save it in your Google Drive as well. But there's a whole variety of things that this program, this app, lends itself to. And just playing around with it is probably the best way to get a really good feel of all the different things that you're able to do. But hopefully this has given you a little bit of an introduction that is helpful. If you would like to reach out to me for guidance or suggestions, I welcome that. My name is Robert Norton. That would be robert.norton@oldham.kyschools.us. And I hope that NTI is going well for you, and that your family is safe and healthy, and we can get through this together.